farming is a rearing of fish in a controlled environment. In this case, fish are kept in the pond and fed and then take proper care and manage the pond until they reach harvesting stage. Fish, can, fish farming can be lucrative if it is done well. And in fact, we raise fish for several reasons. We keep them for food, we keep them to make profits. Let's look at what this fish farmer has to say to us.
This is Ibrahim from the World Farms. So one of the benefits of raising fish at the backyard is that's food security. This one, you know how the fish is being raised for your own personal consumption. You know how the fish is being raised and the protein content of it, which helps to boost the human immune system and other stuffs. So aside the food security, the fish also serve as pets to you, of which you can derive your pleasure from. Because sometimes here, when you come and you are feeling bored, the way the fish feed, their movement, the way they swim inside and other stuffs, with that one, you can derive pleasure from it. So as I was saying, you can keep them as pets, serve as pets to you as a human. So you can derive your pleasure from it. The way you feed them and the way they consume the feed and the way they swim inside. And also when you are changing the water, other stuff, it also gives you the education. So the third one is also profit making, that source of income. So the profit making, as I was talking about, so this one helps you to also generate income. It helps you to generate income in such a way that when so you begin to make profit when you're able to harvest. So during harvesting time that you make profit, it doesn't give you immediate cash, but it's a nice investment that someone can invest the money into. It's just like you sending your money to the bank and other this. You can equally put your money into this within 3 to 4 months, maximum of 5 months. The income you are going to get in. I can even encourage you to even leave the banking system and come to this. And because the amount of money you're going to generate, if you analyze it well, if you go and keep your money in there, depend on the kind of account you go and open for yourself. But if you do this one within some short period of time, you're able to generate income to take out your profit, then the capital of which you can reinvest into it.
Having know the benefits of fish farming, let's now look at some of the steps involved when you want to become a fish farmer or when you want to be successful in fish farming. First of all, before you start your fish farming, you need to plan the species that you want to raise. In fact, the common species that are raised here are the tilapia and catfish. There are other fish that are raised, but here we commonly raise tilapia and catfish. Looking at these two fish, choose the one that you want to raise or you intend to raise. After getting that, your farm setup and pond type. Now, there are several types of ponds that are used to raise fish. You have the earthen pond, and the earthen pond is where the ground is dark, the soil is dark, and water is put in there to keep the fish. And you have to note that with this type of method, the place that you are going to dig to keep the fish, it must it should have high water holding capacity so that when you put in water, it can hold it to keep the fish. This type of pond mimics the natural environment, and because of that, fish performs very well in this type of pond system. However, this is required for large scale farming and it is not ideal for backyard fish farming. Another type we have is a concrete pond. The concrete pond is where concrete materials such as cement, bricks, iron rods are used to construct to hold water and hold fish for that matter. This pond is durable and it is also very good for the better growth of the fish. However, When you use this method, if you don't cure the pond very well, you are likely to lose your fish when you stock them into the pond. The common one, which also used, is the tarpaulin pond. This is beginner friendly, it is less expensive, it is easy to set up, and in fact, you can set it up today and you start raising your fish. And it is also best for backyard or small scale farming. And for beginners, you can begin with this and scale up. But the disadvantage is that it is not durable as compared to concrete pond, and it can tear at any time. And also, fish there doesn't grow faster as compared to earthen pond or concrete pond. But better still, it is the best for beginners who want to start small and scale up. We also have glass pond, but that one is for people who keep fish for beautification, ornamentalists, and people or restaurants that practice point and kill. They also keep the glass type of pond where you see the fish swimming inside the glass beautifully. So mostly they keep such fish either for decoration or for point and kill purposes. The important thing or step you need to take note is water quality. In fact, water is life when it comes to fish. There's no gainsaying about that. The fish lives in the water, and since they live in the water, if there's water issues, if the water quality is not good for them, you can lose the fish within minutes. When we talk about water qualities, we are talking about having the water with the right pH, the right temperature, the right oxygen, and other parameters. So the water that you are going to use for your fish, it should be clean, it should be free from chemicals such as high ammonia, such as chlorine, and any other chemical that is harmful for the fish. So note that before you start, get the source of water that is ideal and free of these chemicals. And you can get this source from the natural water bodies, such as the rivers, the dams, boreholes, wells, and even the metropolitan assembled water, popularly known as pipe water. However, this pipe water contains chlorine, and if you want to use that, you need to put the water, allow it for at least 24 hours before introducing the fish into that. And to also ensure you have the best water quality, then putting up the recirculating aquaculture system or filtration systems in your pond will give you best water quality, and that can make you grow your fish faster without even constantly changing the water. Having gotten good water for your fish, the next thing is stocking. Stocking your fingerlings. Before you even start your fish farm, you need to source a good quality fingerlings. As hatching services that have proven to have better fingerlings, because these are the small fish that you are going to buy and keep them in your pond and raise them till they grow to maturity. And this also comes in different qualities. If you get low quality, the fish will not grow faster and they are even likely to die. So get stronger fingerlings, get good quality fingerlings that prove to grow faster. And when you get that and you are going to stock, make sure that you acclimatize them. And acclimatizing is putting the container that transport the fish into the pond, leave it in the pond for at least 20 to 30 minutes before the fish themselves swim into the pond, and that is what we call acclimatization. This will reduce shocks, and that can lead better quality of your fish and their growth. Now, having stocked the fingerlings, another very crucial thing is feed and feed management. Another crucial thing is feeding and feed management. Now that you have brought your fish to the pond, they cannot get access to natural feed again. It is the responsibility of you as a farmer to get feed, the right feed with the right quality, with the right quantity to give your fish before they can grow. First of all, If you are going for the commercial feed, most of these feed are pelleted into sizes 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm till 8 mm. Some even have 12 mm. Now, the smaller the fingerlings, the smaller the feed that they take. So take note, if your fish at any particular stage, you buy the feed that they can easily consume. If they are still smaller, get smaller pelleted feed. And if they are bigger, get bigger pelleted feed. And make sure that that feed that you are getting, it contains the right nutritional proportion for them to grow faster. And the best also is the floating type of feed. We have floating feed, sinking feed. So the floating feed floats on the surface, while the sinking feed goes under when you put it in the pond. So it is best to use the floating feed because if you put it, you see it and then you observe, and that brings out to the feeding pattern. That is ideal for you to have better fish growth. Now, when you put the fingerlings in there and you are giving them feed, throw the feed there, observe how the fish or the fingerling react to it. If they eat and they still need more, you give them. If not, you are going to overfeed them, and that is going to be problematic for you as a farmer. Now, if you do this, you are going to have better quality management. And that brings us to another important farm management, and that is daily farm management. Daily farm management has to do with what you do in your farm when you come. And let's look at what Mr. Ibrahim, a fish farmer, had to say about this.
So this one too also helps to keep you busy. It prevents you from going to enter into things that are not necessary. Because with this one, it automatically makes you busy. Because in the morning you have to come first. You come, it's not just about coming to pour the feed inside. No, you have time, at least minimum of 20 minutes to 30 minutes you should have for them. When you come and check the machines and see whether all these machines are working well. You check and see whether all these machines are working well. This is filtration system, whether that one is functioning well. Then you check the oxygen pump to see whether that one too, everything is properly working well. Then aside that one, then you don't just throw the feed instantly like that. You measure the feed, you look at the quantity that you're supposed to give to them, and you don't just pour the feed once. You pour it small small and observe them, because when you throw the feed it might be more than their consumption. So if you just throw all the feed inside once, they will take the quantity that they will take, then the remaining one they will leave it there, making the ammonia content to grow higher, and which can lead to death. So sometimes if you find death happening in your farm, if you have begin to record high depth, it means that your ammonia content can be one of the greatest factors, and which can be caused by the feeding. One, you waste the feed. Two, causing the fish to also die as a result of what? High cost of ammonia. So as I was saying, so it keeps you busy. When you come, it's step by step. You first check the machines to see whether they are functioning very well. Then from there, you check inside and see whether you have debt or not. If you check and you don't have any debt record, then you now go ahead by checking the feed, the quantity of feed to be given.
Despite all these measures, we are going to face some problems. As the problems come, you need to know how to overcome them. You are going to have feed challenges, that is overfeeding, and that can lead to water problems, as we stated. And you can also have disease outbreak. You can also have low oxygen. You can also have high ammonia. All these are problems that can lead to the death of your fish. So make sure that you feed your fish in the right way to avoid that. Also make sure that you do not overcrowd your fish. And overcrowding has to do with if you stock the fingerlings or the fish more than the size of the pond, you have overcrowd them. This can lead to disease spread and even mortality. So avoid that and you can have these problems solved. Also have aerators or oxygen added to your pond, and that can bring solve the issue of oxygen depletion and also reduce high ammonia, and your fish will always grow better. If you do all this, you're going to have a successful fish farming journey. Now, if you have overcome all this, you are now heading towards harvesting stage. You have to note that the stage of your harvesting depends on the market demand. Just like when you are stocking the fingerlings, before you decide the type of fish to stock, either tilapia or catfish, you need to do research to know the market demand in your area. Because if people need tilapia and you raise catfish, you are likely not to get buyers, and vice versa. So now you need to know. And also depends, and the same applies to the harvesting stage. Often we raise the fish to 1 kilogram, especially a catfish. However, if the market demands lesser than 1 kg, raise them to that size and harvest them. If it's the 1 kg, that's fine. So when the fish reach that stage, it means that you are now good to harvest your fish. And before you harvest them, you need to look for your buyers. Get people who will come and buy your fish, and that will also help you before you harvest them. Because remember, fish are perishable. If you don't do that and you just harvest them and there's nobody to buy them, they will go bad. Another thing is that you may also harvest and smoke them or add value to them. Either smoke them or grill them, and when that happens, you have added value and the price also raised, and that means more profit. It all depends on the market demand. All this you can make money through that. Now, if you are harvesting your fish, make sure that you select them, leave the smaller ones and sell the bigger ones, and that is also best for you. And also during the fish farm management, if you also have more than one pond, you can constantly do what we call sorting. That's separating the fish for bigger and size, bigger to smaller, put them in different ponds, and that way you can always have better results. Now, to be successful as a beginner, first of all, you need to start small and scale up. When you start small, you learn from the mistakes, then you correct them, and then you grow. Then you can set up bigger farm later. Secondly, learn from experienced farmers. You can contact experienced farmers, learn from them, get consultation from them. You can also watch them online. And that is the beauty of us. You can contact us, we can help you provide that service. Fish farming is raising fish in a controlled environment to maturity. And you can do this by having a fish pond, and it could be concrete or tarpaulin or any other pond. And when you keep them in, have better feeding and feed practices. Also have good water quality management, have better pond or farm management, keep records, consult experienced farmers. At the end of the day, you are going to be successful in your fish farming. Thank you so much.